Hey, it's Father Taylor, and today is Friday, February 4th, and here is your weekly eBlast. Well, last Sunday, we had a tremendous turnout at annual meeting. Maybe we're just all getting used to Zoom, but there was tremendous sense of participation. And it really was a great meeting. And I think part of the reason was because so many people had come to our workshop that was held the week before. We had great participation on both weekends. It's always great, and it's more important now, I think, for that sense of people participating because we just don't get the chance to see each other all together all the time like we once did. And so it's really great to be able to see everybody come together and see all those like blocks with your faces or at least your names as people participated in the annual meeting. We went over a lot of stuff, and we have the written reports. You can get a copy of that online and download that at your house. And I think at some point we're going to put the actual recording of the annual meeting up, just in case. I don't know. Maybe you can't sleep at night, and you'd like to watch the annual meeting. But if there's any points that you'd like to look at, so that was a great meeting. Thank you so much for your participation. This Sunday, we have our services. We're back to 8 and 9:45 as usual, and we're looking forward to participating. The good news is that the COVID numbers seem to go down again. We've been here before, but the numbers are going in the right direction, which should give you a greater sense of safety in meeting together, as long as we continue to follow, relative protocols. Nothing crazy, but masks, and trying to keep our distance. And we're still not up for, having things like coffee hour yet, but maybe we're heading in that direction. Another direction that we're heading in really is around the goals of trying to rebuild our community, bringing people together again. How do we rebuild our community? And how do we continue to pivot toward mission? If you saw that video from Carolyn that she put together about last year, in any other year, you would have said, wow, you guys were really busy. Look at all the community engagement. Look at all the stuff that went on. And that was a year during COVID. So God was really giving us grace and wisdom to pick our places and pick our times where we could meet. But we made the most of that and continue to move forward in our mission. So going forward, we are still looking to kind of regather folks that have been apart, and as they feel comfortable coming together. How do we do that? How do we widen our community by including and participating in the community that's outside of the church? It doesn't mean just Tarryville. It means Simsbury, Granby, and all the areas where you live. So that's what we're working on. This Sunday, there are 3 amazing readings, which I think say a lot to us about those very things. There's a reading from Isaiah. There's a reading from 1 Corinthians 15, which of course, you know that it's all about resurrection. And there's this other fantastic gospel reading where Jesus has people moving from fishing to basically reaching people. So we're going to see how all that fits together, God willing, this weekend. So I'd like to be involved. It's not just hearing a nice, little bit inspiring version. It's got an inspiring sermon. It's God's direction to us through his word. So we're not just hearing slightly inspiring sermons. We're here to hear God's word and what is he calling us to do in life. So that's coming up this weekend. Next weekend, we, God willing, have a baptism. So John and Keely are going to come, and they have twins, but they also have baby Landon, who's going to be there for baptism. That's the Whitcomb family. And if you haven't attended the outdoor services, you may have missed them. But they started attending our services in spring, summer, and often John would be working or unable to come. And Keely was coming with, twins in a double stroller. I don't know. She had this whole thing configured. It's pretty amazing how she pulled that off. What a commitment to try to come to church and bring your little kids to church, with all that going on. So they're going to have a baptism next week. What's your responsibility? You have a responsibility to them, believe it or not, in baptism. You do. Your responsibility comes more than just like saying that line when I ask, will all you who witness these the vows they've made uphold them? I forget the line. Will all you who have witnessed these people make these vows, uphold them in anyway? I'll get the line straight on that Sunday. But you have a line just like in a wedding where you pledge before God your support to this family in raising these kids in the Christian faith and life. And so not all of you can be there in person on next Sunday, but please feel free to send them a note, send them an email. If you want to know their email, all you got to do is text me or text the office. You can send them notes. You can say, congratulations, we're looking forward. Welcome to our community. We need to welcome this mom and dad into our community. And we're going to have a one-on-one opportunity, basically, an in-person opportunity to do that next Sunday, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. We've also talking about things coming up in Lent. And let me just tell you what I know so far. It is like another full slate of a variety of things for you to participate in and for you to invite a friend to join you in. Right now, I have 5, bordering on 6 interviews I'm going to do, live interviews with particular people who are connected to the outer community. So I've got the principal from Terriffill School, chief of police has agreed to do it. I've got the rabbi who's going to do it. I've got old friend Clark Poff, who's the pastor at Valleybrook Community Church. He's the guy that got me into church planting. I'm going to talk to him as how has the mission changed since 1998, 99, 2000, when you started planting a church that's now called Valleybrook Community Church. How has the community changed? How has the culture and the strategy of reaching people changed? That's what I meant to say. So you're going to have him in an interview. And I believe we have one more surprise interview from a conversation that I had yesterday where someone who works full-time on a different continent, we started talking about mission and how it works. And we were on exactly the same page. It was really amazing. We were looking at each other on Zoom going, could we be like, is it really the same thing on 2 different continents? So more to come about that. You'll be able to listen to the interviews. They're rather brief, but then you can ask questions and then we'll have some small group breakouts. Very informative stuff to get some ideas going. We're also going to have some easy to join small groups that we're going to need some leaders in. These are called low maintenance leadership roles, where you basically help convene a group, but we're going to have some stuff sort of like we did last year, where you can able to access materials and you don't have to do a lot of homework. You just need to help convene a group. There'll be online versions, like Zoom, and there may be some in-person things too. So that's coming up. We're also going to have something very contemplative on a Saturday, and I'm not exactly sure which of 2 different groups might lead that, but we're going to have the ability to spend some time and to learn how to spend some time finding Jesus by becoming quiet before him, less activity, more quiet, more being centered. So we have a Saturday with that coming up. We've got another Saturday that's going to come up where you're going to be able to find out what's the difference between being an Episcopalian, what's the difference between being a member and a disciple, what's the difference between the Roman Catholic Church and the Episcopal Church, and why bother? Why would we do this kind of investigation? So it's sort of like a one-day, what we used to call one-day orientation to our Episcopal Church. So that's going to be another day. Some of you have already said, hey, I'd be interested in doing that. So we have a lot of stuff coming during the season of Lent, which kicks off on March 2nd or 3rd, whatever the Wednesday is. That Wednesday is Ash Wednesday. And we'll figure out Ash Wednesday, again, depending on where we are with COVID. Hopefully I won't be standing outside while you're in your warm cars, but who knows? We're willing to do anything. Previous to Ash Wednesday, we're also going to have in parking lot Mardi Gras. And so that's going to become a community-wide event. we've got a bunch of plans on just kind of fun gathering outdoors where it's safer in the parking lot for a little celebration. And it'll be half crazy, because, as a Southerner, why would anybody go outside during February in New England? But we're going to make it work. It's going to be great. So I just want to let you know, we got all this stuff coming up, but please pay attention to this Sunday, and particularly hearing from the Lord by listening to the way God called Isaiah, by listening to the way God spoke to and moved in the life of Peter, not in church, but at his job, and how that led to him moving from one kind of level of belief to a sort of a conversion experience. And then what does that have to do with our mission? And how does the fact that Jesus rose from the dead affect all of that? So that's coming up this Sunday. So stay safe on the roads. Be wise about COVID. Be praying for our church. And be praying for your neighbors and your neighborhood. And so we'll hope to see you this weekend. God bless you.